Hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make this wagon. I'm going to be using the exact same colors, so pink and black. Change it up, use whatever colors you'd like. To let you know, there are approximately 34 bands of the black. There are 4 bands of the gray in the wheels, and the pink that I'll be using, there are 169 approximately pink bands. So I am going to get started. This is a difficult design, so if you're up for the challenge, we'll get started. I am going to use one loom. And to start off with the wheels, our loom is going to be in its original position with the arrows facing down. When we get to the body of the buggy, we are going to put our loom straight. So I am going to get started. I am going to show you how to make one wheel, and then you're going to pause the video and make 3 more. So I will be using black. Oh, and just to let you know, sorry, we're going to use 1 C-clip. So I'm going to use black for the wheels and double bands, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a stretch from the left up to the center, so starting at your second peg going down on the left, up to your top peg in the middle. Now on the right, the same thing, from the center top, stretch it down to the second peg going down on your right. Now we're going to give it a stretch from the center, 4th peg going down to your second peg on the right and push down. We are going to do this on the left, from the second on the left to the 4th in the center, push down. We're going to fill in the middle, double bands, with black. So we're going to go down 1, 2, and 3. We're going to take a single band and put a holding band in a triangle. So from your second pegs going down in a triangle, and now a capping band. A single band wrapped 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now before we start looping, I'm going to take a gray and I'm going to wrap it around my hook 4 times. We are going to slide this when we are looping in the center. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can give it a push up so it's not in your way. And we're going to start to loop. So reaching in, moving your cap bands out of the way, we're going to grab the top 2 bands and they are going to your center. Reach back in, grabbing your next 2 bands and going to your left. The last 2 bands, bring to your right. Now this is where I'm going to loop just once in the middle. So move your bands out of the way, grabbing your center middle bands, and we're going to slide our gray band on. And just loop forward. Now, looping in the middle, move your holding band out of the way and loop to the top center. On the left, and now this last band in the center, you want to loop up, and we're going to use a single holding band and we're going to do a slip knot. Now when you're doing this, we don't want to pull it very hard, so grab it, do a slip knot, and you don't want to pull very hard so we don't stretch the band. So you can move it around so the knot gets tight, and we are going to remove gently because you don't want to stretch your wheel anymore. Now you can just give it a little tug there, and your wheel is, you kind of have to flip it to the front. So pushing your gray bands to the top there. Now you can put this to the side and make yourself a total of 4. Now we're going to do the side part of the buggy. So we still need our loom in its original position and the arrows facing down, and I'm going to show you how to do one and you're going to pause and make yourself another one. This is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to use double bands, and I'm going to go down the loom on the right 9 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to go down in the middle 9 times, starting from the top peg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to close off the bottom, so I'm going to go from the center down to the right, double bands. And push down. I'm going to cap the end right now, so with a single band, I am going to wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to put triangular holding bands that are going to go to the side. We need to hold this part together, so I am just going to take a single and I'm going to make a triangle that the tip of the triangle is facing to the right. Now below that, I'm going to put the tip facing the left. And again, but I'm going to overlap the second triangle. And again, overlapping. And we're just going down, overlapping. And one more time, not doing the end area. Now to loop, we're just going to loop straight up, but we're going to get rid of this holding band that we closed off here. So just reach in, grabbing those top 2 bands, and loop, oops, sorry, give me a second. You want to hold down your band, your cap band here. 1, 2, and 3. So just reach in and loop to the center, and now just looping straight up. Doesn't matter which one you do, center or right. Just move your holding bands out of the way. And now I'm going to do the center. Now when you get to the top, we are going to remove off the loom. So I'm going to reach in the right, and then the center, and remove off the loom. This is what you should have. And you can store these at the end of your loom, because we have to do the bottom part of the buggy. So just give it a stretch, making sure you get all your loops on, and you can put these to the side. So pause the video and make yourself another one. So now we're going to do the bottom of the buggy, so you should have 2. And I am going to use double bands, but before I start, we want to change the configuration of this loom. So we are going to pop out the center to make our loom straight. So you're just popping out the middle, putting down so your loom is now straight with your arrows facing down. So now, grabbing double bands, we are going to start from the center, top peg, down to the second one going down on the right. Now we're going to go down on the right 6 times, double bands. 1, 2, so this is 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I am going to close this off right now, so I'm just going to go down the peg to the center from the right down. And we're going to do this on the left side. So starting from the center top peg down to the second one on the left and going down 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Closing off the bottom from the left down to the center. We're going to fill in the middle now. So just starting at the top. And just going down. Two more spots. So I've reached the bottom now. Now what we're going to do is put holding bands on, and we're just going to use a single, and we're just going to go right across the 3 pegs. So from the left all the way to the right, this would be our 3rd holding band, 4th, I grab 2, 5th, 6th, and 7. What we're going to do now is push all our bands down. And this is what you should have so far. Now grabbing your wheels, we are going to attach them to the loom now. So what I'm going to do is making sure that the gray part is facing the loom and not this way, because then your wheel's going to be put on backwards. So the gray part is facing the loom. What I'm going to do is attach from the top our holding band. I'm going to attach this on the 3rd peg going down on the left. So it's just like that, just hanging like that. Now grabbing our hook, we are going to put our hook through that capping band, grabbing all 3 of the rings and attach to the loom. I'm going to do this again on the peg, this peg on the left. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our 7th peg down. Making sure that the gray part is facing my loom, putting my slip knot band here, and now turning it around. So my gray's on facing me now, or I don't think you're working sideways. Putting your hook through the capping band, grabbing all 3 loops, and then attach to your loom. So this is what my left side looks like. I'm just going to turn my loom around and putting the other 2 wheels on. So again, making sure that the gray part's facing the loom, putting my slip knot band on, putting my hook through all 3 bands for our cap band, and attaching to the loom. I'm going to do this on the opposite side at the bottom. So making sure that my gray is facing the loom, putting my slip knot band on, turning it around, and putting my hook through and sliding on the loom. So this is what you should have. Now we're ready to make this part of the handle, and I think maybe I should have done that first, but because I didn't, we are going to go on top of these and ignore that these are here. So I am going to be using these pegs down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double bands of my pink color, and I'm going to start on the right, and I'm going to go down all the way to the end. We will later use these, so just push them down, okay? So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 more, 5. Now we're going to do this on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now grabbing your black, we're going to use double bands, and what we're going to do is go down the center, so we're just going to go below. We just need to use this little bit of area. We're going to go down to the end, so that's 1 and 2 and 1 more. We're going to take a single band and we're going to cap the black, just go around twice. So 1 and 2. We're going to grab another one and go around twice again. 1 and 2. We're going to loop up the black. So grabbing your hook, reach in, holding your cap bands down because they're loose, and loop the black forward. We're going to remove the black, and what I'm going to do is take the cap bands, put them on top of the left and on top of the other side on top of the right. You have a lot of bands here, so I apologize. Just push your black down to the side so they're not on top of the pegs. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to loop the first couple of bands. So I'm going to reach in on the right and just grab these bands right here. So reach in and loop 1, 2, and let's just do one more, 3. I'm going to go on this side, just looping these bands. So reach in, 1, 2, and 3. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the black so I have access to these pieces now, and push down. Okay, now we are going to attach the sides, which are going to be difficult. So I'm going to show you an easier way, which will be just fine, or I'm going to show you the way that I did it. Before you start, what you want to do is make sure that all your bands are down, starting right from the top and going down to the sides. After doing that, we are going to put our hook through, and I'm going to grab, it doesn't matter which one, but I'm going to grab this one on my right. And what I'm going to do is fix all my loops. Just making sure that it's nice and neat. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to take my first 4 loops that are around my hook, and I'm going to put them at the top center. I'm going to put these loops on here because when I put my other side on, I am going to put the first 4 loops and then these 4 loops and then my other side's 4 loops on top. So it's not more of a V. It's very hard to explain. I'll kind of show you. This is my original one, and it has more of a V here as opposed to trying to make it a little bit more round at the front. So if you can't do this, you can put all of your 8 loops on top now. I'm just going to push down to the side, and I'm going to grab my other side of the buggy. Again, fixing all 4 loops, and I'm going to take 4 and place it down. My other 4 loops I am going to put at the second peg going down just for the moment. I'm going to push down first in the center. I'm going to grab my other 4 loops from the other side and placing them down in the center. Pushing down the middle and holding it down, and now bringing it to the side. I'm going to reach back in, grabbing my 4 loops and put those to on top of the center. And push down. You have a lot of loops here. If you're not comfortable, you can take 2 bands and hold them for the time being. So I'll just do that just to show you. So I'll take 2 bands right now. This is just precaution that your bands don't fall off, and you can either do a slip knot, cut it, or use a C-clip. Just so our bands don't fall off. Now we are going to put our hook through our capping bands, and we are going to give it a nice big stretch. I'm holding, I'm pulling here, so I'm not just pulling my cap bands, and we're going to go around our bottom center. This is what you should have. I'm going to give this a stretch to the side, just like that. I'm going to do this to the other side. So putting on the left, putting my hook through the capping band and giving it a stretch. I'm supporting my loom. First time I did this, my loom went flying. And push down and bring to the side. This is what it should look like. Now I'm going to attach a single band from the bottom teardrops. So just at the bottom, what we're going to do is grab a single band of the teardrop and making sure you don't grab any of the holding bands, and we're going to wrap. So the first teardrop is going to the top center. The second teardrop is going just a single around the second peg going down on the right. Grabbing the next teardrop, a single. I'm going to push my wheel down. The third teardrop, we're going to grab a single and go around the wheel again. Going to the next teardrop, grabbing a single, and we're just putting a bottom single around each of the pegs. Going to the next teardrop, bottom single, the next teardrop, a bottom single, and around the wheel we're going to put 2 bottom single teardrops. Push your wheel down, reaching a bottom single, and another bottom single around that wheel. Don't give up. And a bottom single around the last. We're going to do this to the left side. I'm going to turn it around, making sure that my wheels are down. And we're going to do this again. So I'm going to start at the top. First teardrops to the top center, we want to go to the next teardrop. So grabbing a bottom single. So long you grab singles, you'll be fine. We just want to attach it to the bottom part of this buggy. So I'm going to grab a single, put it around the wheel, grab another single from the next teardrop, go around the wheel, a next teardrop, around the next peg, and if my hands are in the way, I'm terribly sorry, trying. Next teardrop, bottom single from the next one, and I'm at the wheel, so I'm going to put 2 bottom singles from 2 different teardrops, one and the next one, and I promise we're almost done, and the last teardrop around the peg above the end of your center here. So this is what you should have. So now we are ready to loop. So I'm going to start on my handle where I finished looping. I'm going to grab the next bands and loop up. Loop up again. And I'm going to go on the other side on the left. So reaching in and one more time. Making sure that you have all your teardrops looped. Now we need to go in the center and we need to grab the first top 2 bands, which are going to loop to the center. So reach in. If you have tension, you can just move your hook around so it's not too much pressure, and grab your top 2 bands. And I grabbed the wrong 2. So I'm just going to try that again. I can see 1. And I'm not grabbing the right one. Give me a second. So the top two were going there. Now the next top two are going to the right, or sorry, to the left. So reach in and go on the left. Now making sure you push down the bands because it should be like too far at the top. Reach back in, grabbing your next two bands, and they're going to the right. Push down. I am going to loop up on the right, so I'm going to reach in and I'm just going to grab my bottom two bands all the way. So reach in, moving all your bands out of the way and just grabbing your bottom two. Reach back in, just the bottom two, all the way to the top. To the top center, push down. Now I'm going to do the left, so reaching in and just grabbing your bottom two bands, if you have pressure, you can use your hand, loosen it up, and then continue to the top. All the way and push down. Now I'm going to loop up the center, so reaching in, now we're done. So what we're going to do is find our C-clip, remove the C-clip, so remove the bands off, and now we're going to put the bands through, but we're going to use the C-clip. We're not doing a slip knot, so I'm just going to reach in. It's quite tight. So grabbing two bands, you're going to pull through and hold it. Make sure that you grab all of your bands like you're in the center of all. We're going to put a C-clip. Now the way I did it before was I put my bands around the next peg, so it was a little bit easier. And grabbing all four bands. Am I out of scene? Sorry. So now all my four bands are on my C-clip. Just making sure again. And now it's ready to remove. I am going to use my hook to remove all the bands. This part is a lot of tension, so you don't want to pull. When you get here, just keep trying, don't force it. And here's your buggy. You can fool around with this C-clip part and hide it, so just keep turning the bands so you bring it inside the buggy. And there's not very much fixing to do. The wheels, I just kind of flattened, made sure that they are to the sides, and it's done. I hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. This was a challenge, and I say congratulations if you did this, because it was a bit tiring. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to do, and I will see you next time with another. Bye for now.